So, welcome everyone to this NFT Butler AMA session, 22nd of November 2022. Thank you so much for joining. I can see a lot of new faces and also familiar faces. Glad everyone made it to this AMA session. So, let's start on where we stand with NFT Butler, and let me also give you a short overview on what is planned for the next release. You should be able to see my screen of NFT Butler here on the right. As you can already see, there are some changes which have already been integrated yesterday evening when I started coding the next release for NFT Butler. So, since we saw token bidding tasks sometimes being a little bit slower than what they were used to be before, I have been starting testing the performance and rate limits of the OpenSea API. And so far, so I'm running this NFT Butler for 24 hours almost now, and it seems to be very stable with 5 collection bidding tasks running in parallel, and also up to 40 collection bidding tasks. So that's what we are planning to release with the next release, slightly increase the overall throughput by doubling collection bidding tasks and also token bidding tasks. We have first tested with 6 token bidding tasks here as well, but current rate limits show you can run about, with 6 it's not very stable anymore. So sometimes it runs with 6, but the OpenSea API might rate limit you, and it depends a lot on the current performance of the OpenSea API. Sometimes it runs fine with 6, sometimes not. It's very shaky, and most important for us, it should be stable at all times, making sure you can run all your bits and don't have to monitor your NFT Butler. You can just leave it running home to make sure NFT Butler is bidding for you. So so that's one of the major release or features we want to integrate, is to basically double the tasks here for collection bidding tasks and increase it to 5. And these changes will only be rolled or available for users using NFT Butler in the wallet name, since this is very crucial and important for us, just to be visible in the market and make sure we can sell some subscriptions to ensure a stable revenue stream, to make sure we can continue work on this project next year as well. Then we have also seen a lot of feedback in the last 2 weeks regarding outbidding. So we are also planning to incorporate various changes to the outbidding system. Right now, we do have these outbidding settings where we can basically define minimum and maximum bid price and outbidding steps. And especially for token bidding tasks, there are other bots in the market which have a so-called instant outbidding feature. So once you're placing a bid, they will see those bids and counterbid you immediately. So we first thought, okay, what should we do? Should we incorporate the same feature, instant outbidding, and then we are just basically ending up in an insane outbidding war where all the bots just bid in, every few seconds and in tiny little steps. And from a technical point of view, this is not really a vital or viable solution in my point of view, since we are going to digest a lot of bits into the OpenSea API. All our indexing engines have to make sure to keep up with all the bidding events, and it will just put a lot of pressure on the IT infrastructure of the bots and also OpenSea. So our current idea is here to still have the option outbidding in percentage. So this one would be 1% from the total bid value outbidding, or in ETH, but we will add also a third option called automated or smart outbidding, which will basically it will basically cut the range from your min to your max bid price in something like 5 buckets. So if you're very close to your minimum bidding price and you're outbidding someone else, you will outbid him, let's say, by 35% of your total range between your min and your max bid price. Then, if he keeps outbidding you, you will loop again. It will take some time, very unfortunate, but we will also change these looping settings here that you can make the task immediately start once the bidding has completed. Also for collection bidding tasks, we already have a 5-minute interval there, but especially for token bidding tasks, you will be able to specify if the task should wait until the first bid expires. This is the current behavior here. So this task is waiting until the first bid expires. But you will be able to specify, regardless if the first bid is still active, start again and keep looping and outbidding others. So now after the first outbid, you will outbid by maybe a third of your range between min and max bid price. Then if you have to outbid again because you were outbid in the meantime, you will then have a smaller bucket of maybe 25% of the remaining range between the already outbid 35% and the remaining range to your max bid price. And yeah, this will basically be the smart outbidding solution. So it really comes down, instead of forcing the system to do thousands of bids, we will basically try to make the race to the discovery of max bid price of both parties as quickly as possible by adding this automated outbidding option. This makes sense. And the current idea is like first outbid would be 35% of your total range between min and max bid price, then 25%, then 20%, 10, 5, and 1%. So basically you make smaller steps the closer you get to your max bid price definition. And the idea behind is really any race is basically a race to whoever has set the higher max bid price value, and the dynamic adjusting of these outbidding steps is basically ensuring we can discover this max bid price as efficient as quickly as possible. Does this make sense? Did I confuse people? Do you have questions? You can either place it in the chat or in voice. It will be incorporated for both token bidding tasks as well as collection bidding tasks. For collection bidding tasks, it's even going to be faster and easier, since here we have a 5-minute interval of bidding. So with these steps between your min and maximum bidding price, you should end up racing to your max bid price in something between 20 and 30 minutes. And then it really comes down to, who's willing to take more risk. And I don't think the necessity to just take more risk and go with higher max bid prices is important here. I think you should always define your task on your personal risk level. So what do you feel comfortable with bidding on a collection? So for example, this task here, I'm not even ending up close to the top 5 collection bids, but I still keep this task running. My bids are at 0.21 WEF and 0.26 are current highest bids. So most probably I'm not going to catch something here, but if there is a huge sellout and people are accepting these bids, or someone is selling a lot of tokens, I still might get one of these, right? Because maybe they are accepted and maybe I will get one at a better price. But this is basically my risk level definition I feel comfortable with on this collection. So that's what I stick to, basically. And I think really that's how you should use Butler is you want to analyze a collection, you want to define what risk are you willing to take on a certain collection or trade, and this should be your definition. And just someone else is outbidding you doesn't mean it's a appropriate configuration, which still ensures profit once your bid is accepted.
Hey, Benny, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hey, sorry, it's been a while since I've been in an AMA. I have a question on how is this collection offer library generated? So why these collections and why not others that have the collection offer ability, or how is this library essentially created of collections that can be added to this collection offer engine?
So you mean the search engine here?
Correct.
Yes. So basically, yes. So on OpenSea, there is a definition in every collection. So every collection owner can define if collection offers should be enabled, and especially if trade offers should be enabled. And right now we are hosting about 700 collections, and everyone on our Discord can add their collection to the collection search engine. So
Okay, I thought I remember reading that. I haven't done it yet. That's what I thought. So within the Discord, there's a bot that will add it to this task manager to
exactly.
be able. Okay.
So you have this add command here.
Mm-hmm.
It will basically, let me check if there is a description here, add. So you can add a collection slug.
Okay.
This will ensure the collection is added to our indexers. It will take about 30 to 60 minutes to fully index a collection. Depends a little bit on how many assets are present in this collection. And we do also have some basic filtering criteria before adding a collection. So it shouldn't, yeah, it must be unique. It cannot be added before. Floor price should be at least this value. Total supply needs to be between 100 and 100,000. The total volume of traded items on this collection should be at least 50 ETH, just to make sure, some very early or scam collections cannot be added. And it should have at least a total number of 100 sales. And at least 10 sales happened in the last 7 days. I know this one is kind of restrictive and not everyone likes it, but we also have to make sure our database is capable of growing with all the collections. We started with like 200 a few weeks or 2 months ago. We are now at 700, and at some point we have to increase the performance and capacity of our database, which involves additional cost, of course, but we can do that. We just want to ensure, somehow the database is not exploding overnight.
And is this something so it's pushed to everybody's client
Yes,
after a few minutes?
that's exactly how it works. So basically, we have a backend database which stores all this data, and then all this data is fed to all the NFT Butler clients.
Okay, and then one more question. If a collection ever falls under a collection that's already added, if it ever falls under that 10 sales in the past 7 days, is it removed, or is that just under consideration when it's first added?
It's only under consideration when it's first added. Once it's in, it will stay in there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Do we have other questions from the... Oh, I can see there is something in the chat. Cotty asks, hey, can't talk in voice right now, but also a question for the adding. How do we request an update of a specific collection? For example, if there was metadata updated, trades were added or updated. Very good question. So our indexing engine so we have a bunch of indexers, right? So when the collection is first indexed, it basically is scanning all the assets and all the all the sales and listing prices and rarity score. We'll also check if the trade sniper score is available. So if you get this trade sniper icon here on the collection, this means this collection is indexed by Trade Sniper, so all the rarity rank information is retrieved from Trade Sniper. And if not, we basically do a basic rarity calculation. And then another indexing engine will follow all the events. So for every collection, we will follow all the sales, listing, and cancellation events to make sure we can always keep up to date with the current market situation of each item in a rough time frame of about 10 to 15 minutes. So we should never be more than 15 minutes behind the current market situation in regards of sales, listings, and cancellation events. And now rescanning of all the metadata of every single asset. This is basically done in one of the indexing engine, which also indexes new collections. And since we currently have indexed about 700 collections, about 7 million assets, this takes about between 7 to 10 days. So every 10 days, all assets are re-indexed, and the indexing engine basically takes the oldest collection first, which haven't been rescanned the longest, and will re-index it. The idea or the goal is we can also scale these indexes, and the goal is basically to update all the metadata of all the assets at least once every week or a little bit more. So that's what we are aiming for. And if you need a collection to be updated quickly because, I don't know, a reveal happened or a lot of items were added, you can also create a ticket with us, and we can make a collection forced to be re-indexed if requested. Maybe we can also add that to the Discord bot, but right now it's just adding new collections. Okay, we have Russian mobbers asking, so collection offers will have custom looping times instead of the default 5 minutes? Yeah, I get this question a lot. So we will have this smart outbidding engine, which will basically ensure to find max bid price configuration for both parties quicker. I'm still not a fan of reducing the 5-minute interval, but if this is requested and desired by a large portion of the community, we can make this happen. So we can make the 5-minute interval here custom, that let's say every minute it should start. Still, you will have some limitations. I mean, the collection engine can only, so right now it's just started, right? You can see how it's looping here through my tasks. And let's say you put 1 minute, but it takes 2 minutes to loop through all of them. We are basically ensuring in the code the engine can only run once. So you cannot have multiple instances running at the same time. But we could lower the interval. The reason for the 5-minute interval is basically in my point of view, you don't want to expose too much liquidity on an entire collection, right? I mean, any asset owner in the entire collection can accept your bid, and the minimum validity of bidding is 15 minutes. So let's say you reduce the interval to 1 minute, and you set the maximum active collection bids to 15. Then you can actually process every minute all these bits, right? But you will actually expose 15 bits on the entire collection. So if a whale is dumping his assets, you might end up with a lot of collection bits accepted, which in my point of view is very risky. And you can of course limit it here. But if you put the interval to 1 minute and say there should only be a maximum active bits of 3 on this collection, then you end up bidding in the first 3 minutes, waiting 12 minutes, and then bidding again 3 minutes. So that's why we have chosen this 5-minute interval with a recommendation of having maximum 3 bids active, also with the default of a validity of 15 minutes, which sounds reasonable from from a risk perspective. I get a lot of questions. So next one, Deep Sea. Any plans to add the ability to split a single collection into multiple tasks, token bidding? Sometimes it's beneficial to go hard on a single collection, and it would mean running 2 to 3 tasks threads in parallel. This can be done by splitting token IDs. Yes, you're right. And this is really a good one. So when we started with NFT Butler, we first started without the search engine. All the token IDs had to be put manually in here. So this is really a original gangster feature here, this create manual tasks, and you can do it by using this feature. We do also have, so you just give it a name, you need to provide the collections lock, and you need to provide the token IDs as a comma separated list, and then you have all the other options, same options as you have in the search engine. And we do also have in our Discord community bot, we do have a bunch of scanning commands here. So you can, for example, use scan and then collections lock, and this will provide you basically a CSV file with all the token IDs, all its trades, and also a trade CSV file where you basically get all the token IDs as a comma separated list for each trade value pair, stuff like that. So, if you really want to dig deep, you can use this one. But it's a lot of manual work, and you're completely right. We want to automate this. The reason why we didn't add it yet is really the technical core of NFT Butler is using BullMQ to run these tasks with workers, and it's just a lot of logical code which needs to be implemented to basically scale. So what we can do is, if you have a task here with 5,000 bits, instead of running it for 4 or 5 hours, we could actually scale threads to make more workers working on these bits. But then we just have to control the UI and how many task slots are now available, since we have multiple workers assigned to one task. But it's definitely feasible from a technical point of view, and it's also on our roadmap and our backlog. Just needs some brain to implement it, but we will do it for sure.
If I can hop in again, I wanted to see if you have a recommendation on one of the issues I run into when it comes to individual token bidding. Is I'll find some collections that the one collection itself will actually have multiple contracts within that one collection.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to create several small tasks, even if it's bidding only on 20 tokens, but I want to try to cover the whole collection. So I'll create several tasks. One of them by render, I have 7 different tasks, which it only covers about 500 tokens, but that's because I'm forced to, because there's different contracts within that collection. So I wasn't sure if there's anything in the future. I mean, the only way I see avoiding that is if they ever enable collection offering, but other than that, I wasn't sure if you had anything in mind to avoid that.
Yeah, that also comes down to how we store the configuration for each task right now. So right now, each task is bound to one smart contract address, and then bidding on different token IDs within this smart contract. Just made from a logical point of view, it makes a lot of sense to work on one smart contract, but this really has these implications you're just describing right now. So I also agree, once we work on threads and how we scale token bidding tasks, we should also change how we store configuration of these tokens to basically be able to pack multiple smart contracts and their token IDs into one task and make it scale. It's just same story as before. It's a little bit of a technical challenge. It needs redesign of some core functions of the app. That's why we haven't done it earlier, but technically feasible completely.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Sure, you're welcome. let me catch up with the questions. So we got Deep Sea about token IDs. We have Kotti again. And in addition, is there any way to also add collections that have only very few sales last few days? I experienced that adding a collection was not possible for lower than 10 sales. Yeah, I know. This is really the most restrictive is the 10 sales over the last 7 days. If you feel like it's very important, feel free to open a ticket and let us know. We can add any collection, of course, to the indexing engine. For now, we want to leave these limits in place just to make sure database will not explode overnight. Maybe we will lower it, but if you're missing an important collection you want to do bidding on, just open a ticket and we are here to help. Then we have Russian mobbers with risk comes reward, but I get sounds good. Okay, yeah, so that was about the 5-minute interval. Then Deep Sea, thank you very much. So we were talking about these manual tasks here, and we have mutees. Good evening, Benny. Still working, so I can't chat, but I came by today to hear your re-energized voice. Yeah, a lot of sports and sun helps. Jokes aside, do you think we can push in the exclusion list feature for boosting token bidding? Basically, while bidding, check the exclusion list and skip if asset is owned by one of the addresses. Yes, so that's a feature request we have also seen in the suggestions channel, that you can basically exclude certain wallet addresses. So for example, if a collection uses a staking contract and you want to exclude the staking address. I will take a note here on the site on my current list of features. Exclusion of certain wallet addresses. I mean, it's already in the backlog. And to be honest, I'm a little bit worried about the UI because I'm not a UI person. And with all such lists and new options, I'm always worried. How can you make it pretty and not overwhelming for newcomers? But I totally get the point, and it makes sense for, especially for collections with staking contracts. But I cannot promise if it's coming in the next release, to be honest. But I will see how it goes, and I will also speak with our designer if we can make a nice UI design for such exclusion lists. Let me maybe also, we have one more question, and then let me maybe also elaborate a little bit more on what is planned for the next release, which I'm currently working on and should be released by end of next week. So we have one last question from Secure Bay. First of all, I have to say that my English is not very good. It's all good. I'm Swiss as well, so bear with me if my English is not very good. It would be good to consider individual NFTs as well in future updates. For example, there are only 14 pieces in this collection, but each is multiple. So yeah, makes sense. There are some collections. Let's open this one here, just to have a look at it. But I guess each individual piece is having a lot of items. Yes. So here we have 100 items. Yeah, so I agree with this. I mean, especially the more we see NFTs coming into the gaming space, we will, I guess, only an assumption, we will see more of utility token NFTs. So we won't have hundreds or tens of thousands of NFTs, but maybe only a few, but then a lot of copies of them since they are somehow used for crafting or building something. So the question is, I can bid on all collections like this with manual task, yes, because you can create a manual bidding task and then just copy pasting, comma separated list of these token IDs, exactly. But for example, if a listing bot comes, mustn't the collection floor for multiple NFTs, each token ID NFT floor should be considered. Ah, you mean like, yeah, I'm thinking about it. So here I think we need to put some design thinking into this. So my first thought is maybe all these tokens have different traits. So you could do a trade bidding task, which would basically suit this use case. But then again, we are only bidding based on the overall collection floor price and not on the trade floor price. So I think here we need to consider different options. Like incorporating the trade floor price as a new indicator of bidding prices, which can be used dynamically. Yeah. Or yeah, for now. So for now we have workarounds, and this is something new. I didn't make my mind up on what should be the best solution here, but we will have more and more of these collections coming out, and the broader and wider the landscape is on these, the more ideas will come to our mind, and we will find a suitable solution anyway, right? So we are in a very early market, right? I mean, NFTs are here for a year now. Of course, they are longer, but they are broadly used by a year. So we always have to adopt to new technologies, new use cases, and so let's wait a little bit and see how this space evolves. For now, we go with the options we have: classic bidding tasks and manual changes. But the idea is to improve all this in the future, of course. I hope that's okay. I hope this helps. If not, let me know. Cool. So before we go into other questions, let me give a short overview on what is currently on my list for the next update. So first, we have some changes to how we consider the highest offers. This is also some bug fixes. So one bug fix which was reported, if you own the highest bid, but someone else is owning the exact same bid value, so basically both of you are on first place. Right now we are considering you as the highest bidder since one of your local wallets owns the highest bid. But in this use case, we should outbid, slightly, since someone else is also bidding on top with you. So this is a very small one, but we will incorporate this. Then for classic bidding tasks, so what is open here right now, where you manually create tasks with token IDs defined, we are right now not checking the OpenSea API for collection bids. We are only scanning each individual asset for active token bids. So that's also something we want to incorporate. Whenever, even when it's manual bidding tasks, we should always consider all the current active collection bids to make sure they are considered in outbidding. So this will be added as well. Yeah, so basically whenever we do any sort of token bidding, regardless of searched or dynamic or manual tasks, we should always consider the highest collection offer from the OpenSea API to make sure we work with up-to-date data. Another request which was reported is, so if you have tasks sitting here, looping tasks, waiting to claim a seat again, Right now they are waiting until the first bid expires, and if there is no seat available, they will just basically delay another 5 minutes until they can claim a seat. And I think one improvement we can do here is if the first delay reaches 0, then it should not start another delay of 5 minutes trying to claim again. It should just be sitting here like a new task. So like if I add something to the queue like this, and once the seat gets available, it will be picked automatically. So here is a slight improvement of the logic on how we rotate tasks and how we make sure they are picked up as soon as they are ready to be started again. So you can see, so next release is it's not about too many new features. It's really about improvements and making everything we have in the app more reliable and better. Then that's something I already incorporated. So right now, when you start the collection engine, you have to wait up to 5 minutes until the first, since it's a 5-minute interval. I changed this so once you click the button here, it will immediately start the engine and it will start processing. Then so here we have also some small bug fixes. If you delete these tasks, we need to ensure all the logs and everything is properly cleaned up. That's something we saw if a lot of tasks are deleted at the same time, some of the logs still remain on your disk. It's only a few bytes or a few kilobytes. It's not a lot, but it's just something we need to clean up. If the last job on collection meeting house is older than 50 minutes, yeah. So sometimes you see these green borders, especially if you pause the collection task engine and your last bid was reported, you are the highest bidder. The green border will stay like that because it knows the last job processed were a job where you were ending up as the highest bidder. We need to update this. So we need to check if the last bid is older than 15 minutes, the green border will only be active if you really own the highest bid here on all the top collection offers. So also some slight improvements to make sure the border colors are right to represent if you own a highest bid on a certain collection or trade or if you don't. Then also a feature request which has been asked for a lot of people, especially if you're working with a few wallets. If you're running more than 3 token bidding tasks with the same wallet, you're going to be rate limited by OpenSea. So since we want to scale up to 5 token bidding tasks with the next release here, we need to make sure to limit this. So we will incorporate another check when a task is starting to make sure not more than 3 tasks can run at the same time on the same wallet to ensure stable bidding for the app. And this option will also be in settings. So you can also change this. You can make it, only 2 tasks per wallet can run, or maybe 4. So you will be able to control these settings, but we need to add some sort of control how many tasks run on a per wallet basis, just to make sure everything runs stable. Then we also want to add the top 5 sales and listings, or the most recent sales and the top 5 listings on a collection level. Right now we only feature this on a trade. So on the trade you can see the latest sales events and also the top 5 listings. We want to add the same data to collection stats basically. Then there is something we need to check with maximum and minimum holding days. So right now when you, let me check this. Right now when you create a token bidding task and you limit by minimum holding days, let's say 1 day, all minted tokens are automatically excluded because holding days is currently considered since the last sale, and minted tokens have never been sold. So when you set one of these filters, minimum or maximum holding days, all minted tokens are basically excluded. And I think this is confusing. We can improve it by if you only set minimum holding days, then minted tokens can still be considered. If you don't agree, please let me know. We can still change this. But if you set maximum holding days, then depending on the age of the collection, but here minted tokens are going to be excluded if you set it to 30, because minted tokens are way older than 30 days, so we will exclude them, of course. And something else which is also related to outbidding improvements is, so if you're ending up as the highest bidder on a task, not this one, but maybe this one here. I'm the highest bidder here, right? So as long as I'm the highest bidder, I will always bid with the same price as long as it's in my minimum and maximum bid price range. And this is a very important input. So we should also check what is the current second highest offer. So to actually lower the highest bid a little bit down to still be the highest offer, but we are giving away a little bit of profit margin if the second highest offer is way below my current highest offer right now. So this is also something we want to look into, to basically check the highest offer, and if you're the highest offer, also check the second highest offer and make sure we can ensure the best profit margin and still be the highest offer. And something which is also requested by a lot of people is this custom looping time. So when you enable looping forever or limited, the behavior right now is always the same. The task will basically wait until the first offer expires. And some of you guys want to loop faster to make sure the outbidding game can take place quicker. So we will also incorporate here something like custom wait time, immediately start after ending, or wait a fixed time of 10 minutes. So you will be able to specify how long should the task wait before processing the next loop, or if it should wait until the first bid expires. Then we also have this exclusion. Then we have the smart outbidding system, which was explained earlier in this AMA. So instead of having fixed outbidding steps of, let's say, 1%, we will have these buckets. So basically, depending on how far you are from your max bid price, we will do smaller or bigger outbidding steps to ensure we can efficiently raise to discover the max bid price settings of other parties. And something I saw on the OpenSea API when I came back from holidays is here. Let me open this. So this is also something I was expecting everyone to ask me about this, but I didn't see any questions so far about it. So OpenSea has announced they have updated their collection offer endpoints, and they are now supporting a whole bunch of other blockchains. So I think we should be able, I didn't test it yet, so I cannot promise right now since I need to test this. But I think we should be able to do collection offers on Polygon and all these other networks hosted on OpenSea. I don't think it's going to be feasible for token bidding tasks because they talk about the version 2 endpoints here. But at least we should be able to process collection bidding tasks on Polygon and all these other blockchains. I just need to test it to confirm this is actually working. This would allow us also to add collections of other blockchains and process them with collection bidding tasks and trade bidding tasks. So this should, yeah, I hope there is some more fish in the sea to be targeted with bidding. And that's it. That's basically what is planned as improvements for the next release. Now let me get back to the questions. Bona asks, when bidding on specific trades, I would love to have dynamic bidding based on the trade floor price instead of collection floor price. Yes, I see this point, and you're not the first one asking for this. My honest opinion always was that trade floor price is a very, very dangerous thing, because it can be manipulated very easily, just, especially if the trade is about a few tokens only, and someone owns one and sees, and if the Butler is bidding on it, I know how this tool works, I can manipulate the bidding price by, I don't know. I mean, if you undercut the floor price, your token is most probably going to be sold very quickly, but depends a little bit. And if there is no floor price, then someone can really, make you bid too much money. Well, if there is no floor price, you cannot dynamically bid on the trade floor price anyway, right? Yeah, with hard cap bid price, I totally understand this. And yeah, since this was requested many times already, I see I have to think about this. And yeah, we have to think about it. Maybe also, so I think if you do this, the hard cap bid price or also a trade floor price cap is very important to ensure you are somehow navigating in a price range which was expected for this trade. And if suddenly, we also saw sometimes OpenSea canceling all the listings, right? And if this happens, suddenly there is no listings anymore for a certain trade, stuff could be manipulated. But I will think about it, Bona. I can also see there is a lot of likes on this one, so yeah. I see this is requested. I don't like it, as you can hear, but if the community wants it, we have to do it, right? I mean, we are here for everyone, for the community, and to make NFT Butler the best bidding bot in the space. Anything else? There is no more questions. What do you think about the plans? About
I do have now I can talk. Hi.
Hi, Kati.
Hey. I have a question about the token task page.
Mm-hmm.
If you switch to that, I find myself always in, let's say, stop or pause the running task to reassure, let's say, everything is according to my, let's say, strategy in case of bidding tasks, to reassure basically that the amount I'm bidding is still okay. So I would like to see some more information either on what you're showing on the running task, or the possibility to look into the edit page, even if it's not editable if running.
Yeah, so workaround to edit right now is copy. That's what I do. So
okay.
There is a copy button, and you can basically copy a task. Always give it a new name, and you will see all the settings currently.
Okay, I see. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yes, I know this. Also, the reason why it's not editable while running is really because all these jobs already have basically created in the database, and when you would edit them, we would basically have to delete all the jobs and configure them and stuff. That's why edit is not possible. But copy is possible.
Yeah, okay, I see. That is maybe a good workaround already.
Exactly, to at least check what is currently
Yeah.
configured. And also maybe for the long run on this point, so we get a lot of questions, I want to be able to edit tasks, and most of you guys are running very similar settings for a lot of tasks at the same time. So something we have in mind is to implement something like a template engine where you can basically store your task template. So let's say you always want to bid, I don't know, between 20 and 15% below the floor price, and you use this template for a lot of tasks. Then you can store this configuration as a template of settings, and you will have a drop down to basically just choose the template of settings which should be used for certain tasks. And then you can also just change the template to make all tasks edited using the same template. And the same template engine could also be used for search, right? So I guess most of you are using very similar search criteria, since that's what you feel comfortable with from a risk point of view. And also these search settings can be stored in templates, and instead of filling out the forms here on collections or on trades, you can basically just use your templates to check what is the current market situation. Just takes time, right? I mean, template engine is nice and sounds easy, but there is a lot of edge cases. What do you do with running tasks when when the template changes? You need to have the UI to display all these templates and make them editable and stuff. But this is something we have on a high priority list in our backlog. Any other questions?
Maybe a general one, but I saw your announcement about the pricing, potential pricing change in the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Is there, let's say, any outlook already on possible subscription pricing, or is that still open?
It's still open, so it's not defined yet. But we know we will increase the subscription price for both monthly and yearly access. I mean, for us, it's very important to make a stable monthly revenue stream.
Sure.
On the other hand, we can only host so and so many customers, so the price will increase, and it will start next year, but the definition is not out yet. Also on this, maybe a short note on this one. So if you're a subscriber, then basically here you will see when your license expires, right? And here you can also buy additional license. So you can also profit from the lower price until end of the year. So if you add another monthly access, regardless of how long your monthly access is still active, it will basically just extend your subscription by another month. So let's say your subscription is active until 15th of January. If you buy now another monthly access, it will extend it until 15th of February. So as long as the price is this, you can already buy a monthly subscription. You can also buy it in December before. We will also announce once we are going to increase the price. So you still have time to buy another monthly subscription if you feel like doing so.
All right.
Then we have another question from Alex in the chat. Probably very similar to what Bona asked, but would be great to be able to create a task in where I can bid on multiple trades, but have different min-max bid prices for each. Yes, I saw this request as well. So as you already know, you can already create tasks like this one here, where you have a bunch of trades selected. And maybe now you want to define different prices for each of those traits, which is not possible right now. And again, this is fine from a technical point of view. What makes my brain explode is the UI part here. It's really, I like programming and all these things, but the UI is just making my head explode. How would you define all this data on a per trade basis and still make it user friendly and not overwhelming for newcomers? So this is what I struggle the most with such feature requests. But I totally agree. I would love to have. I would also love to, introduce complex trait combinations. So let's say you want to make a task with these eyes and this clothing, or this clothing and this headwear, all these and or conditions combining different traits together. We just have to solve the design and UI part, but we are working on this as well. We have a UX designer for this as well, but we have a lot of parts in the app where we need to improve the user interface, and we just need to assign the right priorities to it. Then we see Secure Bay. It would be nice to split tasks instead of single task for faster bidding. Yes, so that's again what we've spoken about, to basically adjust workers. So something like, okay, this task has a lot of bits. I want to assign 2 task slots, or basically 2 workers to this task. Totally feasible, just needs some work. Top asks, would it be possible to integrate proxies into NFT Butler so we can place a bunch of bits? So you mean proxies into NFT? So we are not incorporating proxies into NFT Butler, since we really want to stay aligned with the OpenSea terms and conditions to make sure, they're not banning all the NFT Butler wallets. We want also to ensure all our users are safe and we are doing nothing nasty. And proxies would be a violation of their terms and conditions. So that's really why we have to stick with those rate limits and make the best out of what we can do with the current APIs. What about collections with hand-weighted traits? Is there any way to edit rankings, import custom ranking file? Not at this point. So right now, we feature ranking information either from Trade Sniper if available. So I think here we have Trade Sniper rankings. You can always double check if, let's say, rank 1 to 10, and then you check the current assets. One always loads a little bit. Really need to improve database to make this loading quicker here. So you can always double check what is the rarity rank information here. You can also sort it by various filters. But right now we do not support custom rankings, since this is also data which needs to be fed into our database. And if everyone has their own ranking system, the indexes of the assets in our database is basically just going to explode. But what you could do is you can run a manual bidding task here. So you can scan a collection, get the CSV export from our OpenSea Discord bot, and you can then basically create a manual task with a comma-separated list of your token IDs. So this is how you can somehow incorporate, let's say, the top 1,000 tokens from your private ranking. Yes. I think Top, did you just turn from like Padawan to Lifetime? It's like I saw your name purple and now I see your name red. So congrats to your Lifetime license, Top. glad to have you as a lifetime member in our community. So I see some people are leaving already. Thank you so much, guys. It's already been an hour. Do we have some final questions for this AMA? Or anything else you would like to ask?
I'm still waiting for volleyball here in Southern Florida, so you just let me know, Benny.
I will remember you for sure, man. We will play spike ball and volleyball in Southern Florida, so I just need to come over.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I'm going to the art festival in Miami. I think it's December. I think it's the 2nd, I believe. But yeah, we have a bunch of events, good events, usually in Miami or West Palm Beach. So.
Oh, this would be amazing. This is actually a dream of me, you know, like it's just not around the corner, the US. It's like a 12-hour flight, but I have only been once to San Francisco for Swisscom when I was working there, and that was beautiful. So looking forward
Sure.
to have another trip to the US.
Yeah, just got to put it out there. You know, if you're ever here putting your feet in the sand, you got to shoot me a message.
Yes!
Definitely
Totally
come
down
play.
for this. Totally down for this.
All right. Cool. Yeah, excited to be here, Ben. It's nice to meet you formally. So appreciate you holding the space, VC here. A lot of good stuff.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it a lot. Any plans for Thanksgiving, Benny? We are not celebrating Thanksgiving here in Switzerland. Thanksgiving is like soon. I have no idea, to be honest. I'm already organizing a Christmas gift for my goddaughter and stuff like that. So I've been to town today, and what I found is like a small arcade machine with like 200 retro games on it. So you can put it on your table, and it's really like one of those very old-fashioned arcade machines, but like only like, I don't know, 20 centimeters high, and I had to buy it, and I will see if she enjoys playing video games the same way as I did when I was in her age. So we have John Hunter with another question. Is it planned to increase the NFT supply, or will it remain always 200? Dave, thanks for replying. 200 won't increase. Yes. So this lifetime NFTs are fixed at 200. Yes, Roger, you are asking for a free trial. Very important point. Whoever is in this AMA and haven't tried NFT Butler yet, please open a ticket after the AMA call with us, and you will get a free weekly trial as part of attending our AMA session. Just read it. Thursday is Thanksgiving. Awesome. Yes. So so this is like in 2 days, right? So enjoy Thanksgiving. Nice, Roger. Glad to see you happy with this. So thank you so much, guys. We host these AMA sessions every 2 weeks. So next one is going to be in 2 weeks from today. I will send over the link and start the session. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. It was a blast having so many people on the AMA session, and I'm looking forward to the next NFT Butler release. And yeah, thank you so much, guys, and enjoy the evening, and speak to you soon.
Thanks, Benny. Bye-bye.
Bye, Benny. Take care. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.